Hey, what's up? It's Tati and I'm back with another review, this time of New Japan Pro Wrestling Battle in the Valley. And those motherfuckers that went are so lucky to have seen a really great show. I really did enjoy this. Now, we started the pre-show at around like 9:30 or whatever, and then the main card started at 10. So your girl was on double duty with Battle in the Valley and Elimination Chamber, because you know the main event for Elimination Chamber started, I would say, just about 10 o'clock. So I was really focused on that. But New Japan had some delays and there was issues with the streaming, and oh my gosh, I just have to say, New Japan, AEW, we got to get it together with finding a place to stream, especially for pay-per-views. I've had issues with Fight TV and Bleacher Report. So, you know, with you spending money for these things, you don't want to have issues. You don't want to have audio issues. You don't want to have issues seeing what's going on. It was a little bit of a rough start, but the show did go on and I enjoyed it. We had Bailey in the building. She was back there, not a camera or anything. And we also had CM Punk in the crowd as well, enjoying some good old wrestling. So let's talk about the results from the pay-per-view. Alright, y'all. First match of the night was the 8-man tag match, which was Kushida, Kevin Knight, DKC, Volador Jr. versus Mascara Dorada, Josh Alexander, Adrian Quest, and Rocky Romero. This was a very fun way to start the pay-per-view. We had many different styles all at once in the ring, so at any given time it just seemed like either team can win this. It was a really great way to get the crowd going, especially after delays and whatnot. It was pretty fun. I didn't really have any predictions as to who would end up winning this, but I did want Kushida's team to win, and they actually did end up winning this match. The last 5 minutes, they picked up with the intensity to wrap it up and whatnot, and Kushida's team ended up winning. We do have Kevin Knight hitting a beautiful pendulum DDT to DKC, and they end up winning the match. I really enjoyed it. And if you did not see this pay-per-view, go ahead and watch it if you really want to see some really great matches. Let's move on to the next match. Up next was for the Strong Openweight Championship with Fred Rosser as champion versus Kenta. Now, if you don't know who Fred Rosser is, he was Darren Young in WWE, and in the past 2 years or so, he has tremendously improved as a wrestler all around, and he has been champion for quite some time. So I wasn't really choosing who would win here, but I just figured that this is a type of match with going against a veteran like Kenta would show how well he has improved in the ring. So we do start this match off pretty strong. This was a really solid match all around. However, we do have Kenta being more of the aggressor here. Obviously, he wants to win that title. And then we have Fred, who you can really see is fighting to make sure he keeps his title. And one of the parts that I do like is when Kenta, he would kick him in the face, and Fred is like, bruh, don't fucking kick me in the face with those nasty ass boots. And then Kenta will do it again and again and again. And Fred was so mad. He ended up going out into the crowd, and he calls Kenta to come out and fight him in the crowd. And Kenta comes out there, and I think that was really cool for Fred to do, because now it really shows that he's not afraid of someone like Kenta in the ring. However, with them going out in the crowd, it was kind of dark, so it didn't really read well on camera for those of us who are watching at home. However, they did the best that they possibly can do and bring the match back into the ring, and that's when things really picked up. One thing I do notice with Japanese wrestling is that the referees are props. Use them. And we get to see that several times throughout the night. However, it was still enjoyable. There was a part where Fred puts Kenta in a crossface chicken wing, and I really thought that that was going to be it. However, it was not, and that was like the first time that Kenta ends up using the referee as a prop. So we had like twice where the referee is down in this match, and the second time that the referee was down was towards the end of the match. And when I guess Kenta like kind of threw Fred onto the referee is knocked out for basically nothing, and he's laying there, and that's when Fred goes and put him in an STF, and Kenta actually taps, and everybody is cheering or whatever, but obviously the ref is not there to, you know, make that official, so there's nothing that he can do, even though he really did tap. And then out of the blue, someone runs to the ring, and who was it? Juice Robinson. He comes out, he has a bag of something, quarters or something, and he hits Fred with it, and that was the advantage for Kenta to end up winning this match after hitting a GTS. And you know what, I do see Fred challenging Kenta for a rematch for the title, or possibly going against Juice for interfering or whatnot. But this was a really great match, and to be honest, it did not need the interference, but that does leave the door open for other matches, such as a rematch, or for Fred to go against Juice Robinson in the future. Up next was the Strong Openweight Tag Team Championship match with the Motor City Machine Guns as champion versus the West Coast Wrecking Crew. This was a solid tag team match. I really enjoyed these guys in the ring. There was a point of the match that I was a little bit worried about the champs retaining. They were my pick to win. I figured they weren't going to change hands tonight, so I did want them to win, but there was a point where there was a bit of miscommunication between the Motor City Machine Guns, and you know, the Wrecking Crew did take advantage of that, so I thought they'd end up losing. However, they did bounce right back, and they were able to snag the win. I really enjoyed this. Great match. Loved it. Up next, we had Jay White versus Eddie Kingston. If Jay White loses, he has to leave New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, that is a different stipulation from when he recently faced Hikuleo, where if he lost, he had to leave Japan. Okay, you guys, that's the difference. Some people are confused with that. So he lost the title from Okada at Wrestle Kingdom. Then he loses the match with Hikuleo. So now I figured, hey, he's gonna lose this third one here and leave New Japan and start a new career somewhere in the States. My guess is AEW and not WWE. Anyway, let's get into this match. This was an absolute brutal match, and even though they were physically giving each other the business, the emotions did play in this match as well, because Jay White has really made a huge name for himself in Japan. However, it just really felt like it was coming to an end, and while you don't want to see him lose, we still have a lot of people in the crowd cheering for Eddie Kingston. He definitely has become a fan favorite. So I was a little bit surprised about that, only because of what is at stake here in this match. However, this was a hard-hitting match. Oh my god, those chops make my chest hurt just by looking at it. I really enjoy this. Now, before the match started, they did announce that none of y'all from the Bullet Club better come out here. Y'all banned from ringside. So we weren't going to see any interference from the Bullet Club here tonight, at least not with that match. So it was a one-on-one contest, and from start to finish, it was great. And we even had some desperate moments from Jay White, especially when he hit a low blow to Eddie. You could just tell that that just shows that he's making sure that he ends up winning this match. So there was a portion of this match where Jay White hits a Blade Runner, and he's going for a pin, but Eddie Kingston immediately rolled out the ring, and then the crowd just went wild for it. And me, I was just holding on to my chest like, holy shit, he rolled out. So now you knew where it seemed like Eddie was going to lose, him rolling out just bought him some time to get a little bit of a breather so that, you know, Jay wouldn't at least get the win right there and then. And I think that really upsetted Jay a lot. So he brought Eddie Kingston right back in that ring. And then we had Eddie Kingston hitting him with like God knows how many back fists. And I was just like blown away how like intense things got in like the last 2 to 3 minutes. We do have Eddie, he hit him with several back fists, then hit a Northern Lights driver, and you know what, he kicked out of that, and I thought he was going to win right there and then. However, it did take another Northern Lights driver to put Jay White down, and Eddie ends up winning this match. We had the crowd saying thank you to Jay. I'm pretty sure everybody knew it was coming. Eddie Kingston even was praising Jay for, you know, everything that he's done or whatnot. However, when Eddie Kingston leaves, then someone comes out, and who was it? David Finlay. He comes out, and I forgot what move he hit on Jay, but he comes out and basically he's like, all right, Jay's out of here. The spotlight is on me right now. I'm a 4th generation wrestler, and I'm the one everybody should be talking about. So he had his promo, everybody's booing him and all that, and I think that just really foreshadowed like where they're going with who might be their next top guy. I'm not really sure if that's what it is, but Jay had a tremendous career at New Japan Wrestling, and I won't be surprised to see him ending up at AEW. If he ends up at WWE, holy shit, I am totally wrong. Up next was the Filthy Rules match with Tom Lawler versus Homicide. Let me keep this short and sweet. I did not like this at all. Okay, I don't even like the concept of there being no ring ropes. Like, what the hell? It just, this kind of reminds me of when the last pay-per-view Royal Rumble, where we had Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight, and the pitch black night match, where I think there was a little bit more focus on the gimmick of the match rather than the actual wrestling. This is a scene complaint I have here. It's like you guys just want this thing to look cool based off, you know, all this shit that you guys got going on, and it took away from the wrestling itself, and I just could not enjoy this. I was turned off after a couple of minutes. Anyway, Tom ends up taking the win for this. If you can skip anything on this, it's this match. Didn't like it at all. So up next, we have the New Japan Pro Wrestling World TV Championship match. Zack Sabre Jr. is champ, and he's going against Clark Connors. Now, 2 things kind of ruined this match for me. One being it had to follow up that atrocity that we saw prior to this match. And then 2, there's only a 15-minute time limit when it comes for these TV titles. So that really put a damper on the mood. It felt like the crowd wasn't really feeling what was going on, and I felt that energy myself. I was like, man, after that match, and then with this match being a time limit, it really put a it just brought the energy down, so I wasn't really feeling it, and it almost felt like it was a bit rushed. Now, these two are really great competitors, but I think where the match fell on this card definitely ruined a lot of the energy here. However, I don't really have anything bad to say about what they did, but it just kind of killed the mood for this match. We do have Zack end up retaining this title, and after that we do have a confrontation from Kevin Knight, who seems to, you know, want to challenge Zack for the title. So we'll find out in the near future if he'll get that opportunity. So let's go on to the 2 main events of the night. So now we have for the IWGP Women's Championship match. This right here, you guys, was absolutely excellent. So it was Kyrie versus Mercedes Moné, and I really enjoyed this match. And I do think both these ladies have really, really great chemistry together. This was a really great way for Mercedes to debut to New Japan and also show everybody why, you know, leaving WWE was probably the best thing for her to do. It's not like she was going to leave that company and just start fucking around and not putting some great work out there. And last night she really, really showed why she should be champion, and also Kyrie showed why she deserved to have been the first woman to win the IWGP women's title. This was a great match. We first start off this match with Mercedes ring gear, which was inspired by Hana Kimura, who was a wrestler who unfortunately committed suicide due to online bullying. It's an insane story. If you haven't heard about it, look it up on YouTube or Google. It's crazy, but I really appreciate the time. I really appreciate the fact that she took the time to honor her in this match. If she was still alive, she probably would have had an opportunity like this. So this was a really intense match. The girls had great chemistry. The audience was feeling it. Everybody woke their asses up since those last two matches. So, you know, it was really interesting to see. Me personally, I did think they were going to go with Mercedes to win this, but I also felt like Kyrie didn't have the title that long. She had it for like, what, 3 months now, especially after going through that tournament. I kind of felt like maybe it was a little bit early for her to lose the title, but I can see why, especially from a marketing aspect, why they would have someone like Mercedes to win this match. But even if some people might have felt like she shouldn't have won it, she definitely earned it with this match. I really, really enjoyed this. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend checking it out. I did see somebody have post it might have been a New Japan YouTube page had posted highlights for it. Check it out if you can't watch the whole match. It was great. Mercedes ended up winning this match. It was like a 60-minute time limit, and it ended like halfway, probably about 30 minutes with them going against each other in the ring. The match was absolutely clean. Mercedes ended up picking the win after hitting a DDT, and she wins the title. And I have to say this, Japanese titles, I like how they look in comparison to American titles, especially the women's title. They look so much smaller, something that looks really, really great with the girls' bodies. I prefer how they look versus how the titles in America look, especially for the women. A little bit too bulky for me, but Mercedes looked absolutely stunning with the title. So congrats to Mercedes for winning this title. She had a really, really amazing debut. Up next was for the IWGP World Heavyweight title, which was with Okada versus Tanahashi. This was a amazing, intense match. These two always deliver bangers. Oh my gosh, they are amazing in the ring, have amazing chemistry. Now, because we've seen them so many times in the ring, I'm gonna be honest, this was not their best encounter with each other, but it was still pretty solid and a great way to close off the show. I enjoyed this match thoroughly. These two never disappoint, even though I don't feel like this was up there with some of their other matches. Now, the crowd, they were definitely feeling this one. I think from the start, well, at least for me, I'm going to say I did not see Okada, you know, losing the title. So they really had to put on a really great show. These guys have definitely raised the bar when it comes to professional wrestling. So there was a lot of high expectations with this match, and I personally was not disappointed. You already know the drill. Okada does end up retaining the title, and I find it interesting that after this match, Okada even suggests that him and Tanahashi should be tag team champions. that's pretty interesting. So if they do go that route, I would love to see how that would go if they end up being champions. I would love to see that. I have no issue with that. I hope they're gearing towards you know, another Forbidden Door pay-per-view with AEW, and this time I hope they do it right. We'll see that in upcoming weeks after the Revolution pay-per-view. But either way, this was a very solid pay-per-view. You know, there was a match or two where it wasn't all that, but altogether, if you're looking for great wrestling matches to watch, this pay-per-view is something I would not sleep on. You can watch the highlights on YouTube if you cannot watch the full pay-per-view. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I will be back on Wednesday with the review for Dynamite. Thanks for watching my video.